Okay, if you want to decide what the period is, I would start looking at it right there, and then just look at how far it is to get to the same point in the pattern. Right, that's how far it is. So you can just read it off the scale. Then the period is 16. Period is 16. If you after that now, so you need to figure out that how far it has been expanded vertically here. Amplitude is 4. You need to figure out if there's a vertical shift. No vertical shift on this because the center line is right on the axis. Again, just look at the kind of the top, the bottom, and the midline, and that gives you the range, right? That gives you the range, and that helps kind of figure out what's happening here. The rest of it, you need to find the phase shift. To find the phase shift, if you're starting it as a sine curve, I would call this the phase shift. Positive sign, it's going to start there. The phase shift is 9, right? So if you want to write one equation, you could write 4 sine. If the period is 16, do I put a 16 in here? No, what do you put? You put what? Yeah, you put 2 pi over 16 or pi over 8. Either one, whatever you like. It's 2 pi over the period. Right? That number is 2 pi. This number is 2 pi over the period. So if the period's 16, the number here is 2 pi over 16. And we need x minus, if I'm shifting it all the way to there, as the starting point, this is minus 9, and this is going to be 0, right? It hasn't been shifted vertically at all. So that's one equation you could write there. If you want to make it a cosine curve, you could start right here, or you could start right there. I'm going to make it a negative cosine curve and start here, right? If that's your starting point right there. Color coordinated. Negative for cos. Everything. This is going to be the same, but the phase shift is going to be different. That's going to be 5 if you're starting it there. If you're imagining that that's the starting point, you're just thinking you're shifting the whole function over there. Okay? You could write a positive cosine curve. You could write lots of different things. This one over here, I'll quickly write in it, something for you. If it helps, draw a line down the center here. This one, if we look at the scale here again, isn't it great that I used 4 again? If I'm calling this one negative cosine, because that's really close to the start there. Actually, let's do a positive cosine, because it didn't do that over there. Let's pretend that's the starting point for a positive cosine curve. That is 5. So eventually it's going to be x minus 5. The period is, what does a period look like it is here? From there all the way to there is 8. So this is 2 pi over 8. Or of course you could reduce that down to pi over 4 if you wanted to make it simpler. And it's actually gone up 5. So this is plus 5 on the end here. Other equations you could write as well, but that's one of them. Any questions about that? Again, lots of practice in here for you. Various types of things. You have writing the equation. You have just figuring out what the b value is in the equation. You have just stating all the information, stating the period, stuff like that. We have some other stuff here too, right? It's a bit harder to start doing the graphing. It probably helps you to, if you're drawing the graph of something, if you're trying to draw the graph of these, maybe look at the vertical stuff first. I think that would help some people. If this is shifted up by 3, put kind of a dotted line across at 3 here to use that as the center line. And then, whoops, I got it on the disappearing ink. And then go up and down from there. So if you got that as your middle line, and you're going 2 up and 2 down from there. Maybe don't draw them this dark, but you know the whole thing's going to fluctuate in between there, right? Okay, maybe I'll do this instead. That's the highest it's going to be, and that's the lowest it's going to be. right there, and right there. Right? Because it's going to be down the center here that's kind of the line it's going to pass through. If you're trying to graph the thing then from there, figure out what the period is, figure out where the starting point is. That's 7. Started at 7 here. It's a cosine curve, so it starts at the top at 7. The period here, this is pi over 10, which is like 2 pi over 20. So then this is the period is 20. So then maybe it's a good idea to draw another point 20 later. So that's 7, so I got to do something at 27. Cosine curve has to go down and back up again in that space. So maybe halfway in between there, put a point at the bottom. And halfway in between those points, put another point here. And then just keep following the pattern for yourself. And continue along here. Okay, and then you can kind of draw the shape in for yourself. I know that's one of the check your understanding, and I just checked my understanding, but think about the vertical stuff first, okay?